When the rain started, I put on my spaghetti helmet so my head wouldn't get wet. But that didn't do a bit of good. I went down to the bottom of the ocean where the dead people go.
I had this image of these gigantic, like, obese, naked, fat men, like, catapulting out of the ocean in, like, a school, like they were a bunch of, like, sort of leaping manatees, kind of, like, jumping in and out of the ocean, and then sort of like landing on. There was a script that was just pretty much about this.
I met Benh Zeitlin in New York at a screening of his epic 25-minute short film, Glory at Sea. The film won McSweeney's Wolfen Award at the 2008 South by Southwest Film Festival, and recently Ben was named one of Filmmaker Magazine's 25 New Faces of Independent Film. We've decided to go to Coney Island, where he spent a good deal of his childhood. In a week, Ben moves to New Orleans, where he shot Glory at Sea, and where he'll be writing and directing his debut feature. It's September 18th, 2008.
No, so how old were you when you come down when you were a kid here to Coney Island?
Yeah, I'm from I assume when I was born. I mean, my parents were working. My parents are both folklorists, and my mom's big project at the time was sideshow pitchmen and various like barkers and callers, and so like she knew people. And my dad worked on the project too. He sort of studied medicine shows for a while, and so all that stuff, like from the guys at like the hot dog stands, like calling out to like, you know, try to convince you to buy a hot dog, to like the people trying to get you to go into the freak show. They sort of knew the whole world down here. That I would say is my favorite place in all of New York. Like right
when you're up at the top. Is that the first fall?
Yeah, that's the first fall. And when you get up there, you look out over the Atlantic. And you can look back, and if you turn your head around, like you can see Brooklyn, and it's like that I would consider like the essential sort of like home. There's like one spot that is eternal in New York, like that's home, like right up there for sure.
What was the plan like?
I mean, the original plan.
How long were we going to shoot? How long were we going to shoot? And
well, the original plan was I thought it was a 7-minute movie. I had $7,000 to make it. That changed by virtue of meeting all the characters who end up in the movie. You know, it's like I was planning on having maybe it was going to be like a rowboat that like 3 people were on or something like that. And as soon as we ended up with like 11 characters that had to be on the boat had to be a bigger boat. And there were these things that I felt like, wow, if this boat was similarly just kind of like a collection of lost souls, you know, that are missing their the thing that makes them complete. And that was how we included things, was adding it to the boat and adding it to the cast until the cast was huge and the boat was giant. I would say it was the most sort of just like DIY filmmaking you could possibly imagine, but just on an unbelievably massive scale. I mean, we had like, we would have like 30 people living with us. We weren't paying for the house we were living in. Right. We weren't paying for the studio we were working in. But it was made on the back of just unbelievable favors from everybody, and people, you know, everybody on the crew taking just enormous financial sacrifices to be down there, you know, just for the glory of it, you know.
That's my freaking boat! Oh, sell that thing!
This is exciting.
Yeah, I hope you're not a vegetarian.
I like to make hamburgers.
Me too. I have a very special hamburger recipe, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to get could I have a hot sausage?
Oh, the same exact thing.
We could have built that boat, I'm sure, as a set somehow and stayed in shallow water with it and saved ourselves $50,000 on the movie. But, like, the characters in the movie sail that boat out to sea and risk their lives, and we were going to do the same thing.
And that kind of living the story, does that, is it coming from, are you inspired by other filmmakers? It seemed like Herzog.
Herzog's, I was about to talk about Herzog. It's like
and
Herzog, Fitzcarraldo, like his sort of attitude towards like the process of filmmaking has influenced me a lot. And like, I think that a film, even though it's involves so many people and so much time and money, should follow the same rules as like other art forms. It's like, like when you sing in a band, when you play your instrument, you have to play with feeling, it's like, and when and that goes for everything. To me as a filmmaker, it's like what Cassavetes and Herzog do, they both really bring feeling to the actual making of the film, and that has to do with just every day on set. And I don't think that's even like you can sort of talk about that from kind of like I believe this as an artist, but it's also just like, what do you want to do with your life? It's like, you want to spend every day like enjoying what you're making and like enjoying the people you're around and, and putting together the crew and stuff like that. It's like, you want people that you love there every day.
Right.
You want the people in your movie to be people that you care about.
What the hell? Flood came. My wife couldn't swim. I busted a hole through the ceiling to float this here bed. New on top. Bed's blessed.
I feel like the film has like a very cathartic effect. Was that coming out of how your story got shaped somewhat, or location-wise, shaped around New Orleans?
Yeah, it was like it fit together really well with what my original intentions were, which were just sort of not specific. We're just kind of emotional and like general ideas about those types of feelings, and then that fit together, I think, very powerfully with the story of New Orleans, and I think they worked together in a way that was like pretty. It was matched immediately. And me and my sister are planning to sort of reassemble the boat into like a carnival cart that like sort of looks like the boat, but also projects the movie and has like a arm with like a screen and like makes popcorn and like has seats that fold out, and it's like all going to be powered by like slave monkeys on bicycles or some kind of like, it's going to be like a sideshow attraction. I think in general it's like a good kind of idea, just to kind of like treat a movie like a band and like tour it.
Right. I think
tour it on your own and not just kind of like sit around bitching about how it's impossible to get into independent film scene, but just kind of like it's easy enough to like get a screen and a projector and make it an event. And so we're going to try to sort of like self-distribute in that way, which would be really fun.
Do you sail? Or what do you? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I had like, I don't know. The only time I ever feel like very at ease is around water. So I think I'm just kind of drawn to water.
Yeah.
There's something in like Henry Miller where he talks about like how he loves everything that flows. And I think that's like, I think about that a lot,